Hello, Free Enterprise, and welcome to Game 2 of this matchup between LUF and Possumorpheus. Possumorpheus is up 1-0. I am Fiery Blizzard. I am joined tonight by our tracker, the Free Enterprise ladder enthusiast Fried Potato, our restreamer Joker Mage, and my partner in crime, Judge Joe. How are you doing tonight, Judge Joe?
I'm doing wonderful. Really excited for this race. The first one was fun to watch. I'm sure this one will be just as fun as well.
I am sure it will. This is going to be a very fast start, more than likely. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think LUF is going to do some risky plays being down 0-1, knowing that Possum was a bit defensive in the first game? Or do you think we'll see more standard play from both our racers tonight?
Being up a game, Possum will almost certainly just kind of play his standard route. He tends to like to do that, leave it up to the opponents to change stuff up if needed, see if they can take the win doing it that way. So I think we might see some more interesting plays from LUF, but maybe not quite as aggressive full Earth as Game 1 was for both of them.
Now, of course, if you are joining us for the first time in this tournament, this is an Omnidextrous flag set, meaning that every character can equip almost anything, or basically anything. So lots of power to go around early, which makes things like an early moon dive quite a bit more accessible. But do we get that early darkness crystal, and then does someone take the risk of that darkness crystal? Are you hoping for an early darkness, Joe?
Always.
Yes. I would
early
like to
darkness see... and the dragon whip.
I would like to see an early darkness crystal, but the darkness crystal being required for the magma key. That was the case in Game 1. So we'll see if it happens again. Of course, one of the other fun things about this flag set is that we do get to start with a random starting kit. What do you think it's going to be tonight?
It is going to be a cat kit. Not much, but a couple more life potions, another star veil. I'm sure they can make use of those.
You heard it here first. I did not see who our hero, or not a hero, but I didn't see who our starting character was. I'm going to guess La Rosa. I don't suppose you caught that.
I might have seen a Rosa, but can't say for sure. We'll find out in just a minute anyways.
Yep, I saw Rosa on that little flick over to new game, so we do not have an exit caster to start unless we find a Porum, which does happen occasionally. That might entice our, racers to go up Zot Tower for that exit spell, depending on who else is in the seed. But we are going to get started here. Both of our racers are off. Let's see what we get in the beginning.
Ooh. That's a green names kit. That's Iridia. That was a heroine.
And a tiara, I believe.
Yep, and a ninja hat. So plus 18 strength, plus 18 agility, plus 10 wisdom for anyone who needs it. Protection from dragons. As long as they can pick up a couple sticks to hit things with, they're going to speedrun this seed.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. Very fast. I think this actually benefits LUF a little bit, having that power. Sort of normalizes sort of the micro optimizations that one might have, because you're sort of off thinking exactly what you're doing in battle. Your battle just basically becomes hold A, because you're doing all the damage and you're not taking any damage as well with that heroine robe. We do see an immediate divergence here. LUF taking that hook and is going to raise the hovercraft. May decide just go straight into Eblin Castle and then may go down the hook route. That would be interesting. I would love to see that. Whereas Possum is doing more of a standard start here and looting Eblin Castle first.
Light sword, that's one of the best lootable weapons with max tier 5 being a part of our treasure setting. So that plus say a Gungnir, or even just smaller things like a Power Staff or a Flame or Dragon Whip or 2 Light Swords
Yeah,
will
2 light
let us really hit things.
Yeah, 2 light swords, heroine robe. I think those black hat lamias are not long for this world.
Yeah, and if there's an Avenger in here, oh boy, are we moving.
Question is, of course, are we going to get an axe for those Mad Ogres as well? There's a power staff that you were talking about. Will be
Silent
useful
Staff,
later.
anti-Mad Ogres online.
Yeah, I don't see either of our racers leaving Eblan Castle without at least taking the right 2 chests, that being the Black Hat Lamia and the Mad Ogres. Again, for those of you who haven't watched this flag set before, we actually do have K-Trap, and they are in their vanilla location, so we know what traps we're going to run across and where they are. But we also know that there could be key items in there. So, the sooner you can do it, you also get levels, but you also will get a fair bit of power and your key item checks at the same time.
And with the strength we have, one of the more important things will be how fast can we get Berserk, just to optimize our little bits of power, make us swing more often, do that quicker DPS in fights with less action.
Yeah, we'll be curious to also see. I imagine this radio is not going to be an anchor for very long, just as the available sweeper in the seed. Maybe we find a port or a Palom on Hobbs, or maybe we see a food down the hook route. But Iridia will generally come online here. You generally find your drain weapon somewhere in the seed, so you're not really too worried about anchoring. I did get a key item from that chest. It was the Luca key.
Just a Masamune from the other chest, so nothing to really increase our power yet other than the levels, but we'll see what happens as the seed progresses.
You see LUF going with double light swords, I believe does have that poison axe from the basement as well. It would have been a little bit of a time save there just from the racial weakness poison axe gives. But still, no problems whatsoever. We'll also get that Luca key, and we do get an item from Bedward. Woo. Do you want more power, Joe?
I feel like if we had gotten Berserk, I'd be even happier, but we have more than enough power to do it. It's just how much time would Berserk save?
Question if you're Possum is, do you go up Zot immediately right here, not only as a counterplay, but you're guaranteeing yourself to get exit. There's our Palom as well, it'd be Baron in. But Zod does route really well with Baron. Okay, well,
how much do you want to anchor?
How much do you want to anchor, and how many heroine robes do you want? Because if you want a second heroine robe, this seed will provide you with a second one. So the answer is, if you want power, you can have it, and if you want anchoring, you definitely have it with those 2 drain spears. That is minus 20 agility.
Oh, no. 3 drain spears. Unfortunately, we can only equip 2.
Unfortunately, we are not playing FF5. We do not have Gilgamesh in here. We cannot wield 4 weapons at once. Maybe a wacky in the future, who knows?
Hey! Maxed out power! Now we can go, like, I don't know, spoon.
We have a
can
power
throw
staff.
Yeah, spoon, power staff, double heroine robe ninja. That's plus, that's a lovely plus 43 strength and 33 agility. Ooh.
Traps are hitting our key items, though. That does not remove any future traps from the key item pool, because these traps are done area by area in terms of generation. But it is always nice to see them in the trap chest. We do get LUF going up hubs, where Possum is going to take this on all the way through. We'll get 2 characters for his trouble, but we don't know. Those characters could be a Rosa and a Rydia.
It'll be interesting to see if LUF manages to go and get Berserk before. Oh
hey,
boy,
Joe. I feel like people have places to be.
Yeah. Well, so we have an Earth Hammer. Yay! We are not locked.
Well, you would have done 1 damage at a time.
I've fought them. If we had a poison arrows and we were doing physical damage, that might have honestly been the best bet to do more damage via poison.
I feel like we've seen that in a Lit 3C before. I feel like I've watched you do that before, actually.
Why, yes.
Meanwhile, we have Odin here in Antlion Cave. Rosa is going down on LUF's side, I guess, wanting to hit Rosa as an anchor for now. Or maybe not, maybe just accidentally.
I think we tried to go and murder Rydia and we missed.
Okay, there we are. Makes sense here. Palom is a better sweeper. Rydia doesn't have much better to do here. We do see a charm coming from on Possum's side here. Maybe Rosa will eventually get hit. Because...
oh no.
Did you want another heroine rose?
Oh no, whoa.
Yeah, so it turns out having 2 heroine robes on somebody makes them basically impossible to hit.
There's a chance that LUF doesn't loot the treasury?
No, there's
But
not.
if he does...
There's no chance LUF doesn't loot the treasury.
We have 2 heroine robes, we have 2 light swords.
But we don't have any agility manipulation gear on his side other than the
We have Rydia.
Drain spears are better.
Yeah, they are. I can see a world... Oh, wait.
This is more probable to me, where you just fade Zod and Flame Dog for a while.
Are we... Nope, he has not done Black Cat Lamia, it looks like, and is heading that way now.
Well, if you equip that second heroine robe, I guarantee you the Black Cat Lamias will not be long for this world.
We'll see if Possum's figured out what caused the charm or figured out a way to prevent it for this next go-around.
If only we had a headband protects you from charm.
Headband would be a great help.
What's interesting about this, yeah, I like Luke's
It might have
play
been
about,
just a counter from the gremlins.
It could have been. So I like the life clutching here from LUF. What I would think of with a Palom is don't do the Skull Staleman chest until you get Quake on Palom. Why not make that fight as short as possible? But we'll see what LUF does. If he does take that Staleman Skull chest, and it looks like he is going to go ahead and do that now.
We're close to Berserk. We have all the power in the world. We have all the defense in the world. So this should get us closer to those important spells. Could be faster later, but it could also make stuff faster later.
Yeah, that is definitely true. You could get an Avenger out of here, that would be really nice. And the Fire 2 will clean up the skulls here, so it's not too much longer. Just gotta wait for these punches.
And interesting enough, with that earlier Palom and the Gauntlet being in that first spot, if LUF does some more overworld stuff, he could Quake or he could Virus the Gauntlet and save some time that way.
Absolutely. Just got Virus on that Palom with that Skull Staleman fight, so that will definitely come into play. LUF is going to go down this hook route, though. Sort of what I was alluding to, being pretty hyper-aggressive here, I feel. We have all the power, so...
We have the pan also, so It could be what he's going for is quick charge down the hook route. Maybe we have a Quake caster, so you could even just go down the hook route, knock out Sylph, head back up with more power in the world than you could imagine, and finish going back with what you missed.
And there are those black swords too. +5 to your wisdom is not bad either. Plus wisdom, plus agility. Very nice pickup to find in that shop. And there's the headband. There's your charm protection. There's your breath protection as well.
We don't need more strength gear. But with this underground, that does increase the odds of fading the treasury and that third heroine robe just a bit for Luke.
Yeah, you're correct. And there is that Rydia sitting there. Will we see a vanilla Rosa coming from Zot? And there's another Rydia. Nope, that is an Edge.
Did you want one of the premier Zerkers? Well, here you go.
I mean, you give enough harem robes to anybody, they can be Zerkers.
But Edge's natural agility just makes him easier to maximize those multipliers early.
And I should clarify that. Anyone can be Zerkers except for Young.
He can still be a Zerker.
Yeah, just harem robes won't do anything, so...
Instead of 255 times 18, he'll be like 115 times 18. A little bit of difference.
Tello would benefit more. Considerably more. But we do actually see that this Zot is Blue Robe Central here. Alt Gauntlet into Water Hag. You will not see any more blue robes in this seed.
And actually with the Ashura on the hook route, if LUF thinks about the Silent Staff from Eblin, we should be seeing a three swing Ruby fight.
Yeah.
Self Zerk, hit. Hopefully could go with those Heron robes, should be hitting quad 9s.
I would think so. Now, this is interesting. Possum just picked up an Edge. I have to imagine he's about to pick up that Palom. But if he didn't pick up that Palom somehow, Edge is definitely a viable sweeper as well. But you have a Palom, so you're going to sweep with Palom more than likely. A lot easier. But we do only see a ribbon from the Zot play, but really the prize there was now we have an exit caster.
Yay!
Races have been won or decided by whether or not someone has exit. Yeah, this Edge is going to really sort of clean up everything very, very quickly. Again, this is the seed if you really wanted a lot of power. I have to wonder where the seed is going to trip up our runners. Maybe. Now, LUF, I imagine, does not want to see a Dark Knight Cecil here. That would probably be worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario, and would be really tragic with this early hook die. We have a Rosa. There is a way if we can get Rosa survivable, but
you just need about 600, and you might need one more level for Rosa to be survivable here. The issue is you need a second character to survive.
Probably like a Drained Sword would also work. I
gotta wonder though, if you had 3 Heron robes, you'd be able to get your agility higher than the hook, King Queen Eblin agility at 53.
Oh yeah, if you can get 2 swings off, especially with a Zerk, before the second, you should be more than enough. Did we just learn Quake?
We're gonna find out, and we did. That is going to come immediately. Possum, as we were sort of talking about, Possum is going to play this nice and safe. Is going to take up Ordeals. Not really a problem here. You have the power to one-shot everything, assuming that everything isn't either a Dark Elf or Golbez, in which case you get to wait quite a bit. But there's going to be no functional difference between doing Ordeals now or Ordeals later. But it's a bit interesting he does this knowing that that All Gauntlet is at Zot 1 and not really boss hunting. So this is just, trying to get rid of the outs that LUF may have.
It's also a play that Possum has been known to enjoy, just really pushing that Ordeals. Looks like we are going for full power strategy. We are equipping the power staff as opposed to silent staff, and we are setting up a double wall.
Which will certainly be the safe thing. Rosa is not going to take any damage from Ashura, certainly with 2 heroin ropes on hand. So it's just going to be a matter of time. And Ashura doing LUF's work for him, taking care of that Rydia. This is not back attack Golbez.
We're fast. Back attack Golbez is fine.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have been a problem. It just would have been a more significant time waster. So Edge is gonna get rid of, dispatch his own parents. And then we're gonna see what is in the changing room. If it's not a key item, I would expect an immediate reset, unless it's another heroin robe, in which case I still expect an immediate reset, if only because we have enough heroin robes.
If it could be an Avenger, maybe that wouldn't be an reset?
Unfortunately, it is T-Pro, and it cannot be an Avenger.
Unfortunately. Bye.
And LUF is down, took out that Ashura, is going to Pitfall around the 1915 mark.
Very fast. And having done Baron Inn and Antlion, that leaves heals and those upper parts of that basic area to go. So Fabul and Bedward Flame Dog, which means that that's a very nice time.
Yeah, I have to imagine, I gotta imagine in LUF's head, he's gonna try to fade quite a few things, trying to get a leg up on Possum. Ordeals is sort of the obvious one. I don't expect Bedward to be faded. And there is that Golbez.
At least we don't have an Avenger.
No, we've all seen how Golbez in this spot fast anchored with a double Avenger Edge will go. It's a very fun time. But no, now we just get to wait. It's still longer than I would think, but yeah, this is a very fast Edge. Eventually, we'll get through the comedy routine here.
LUF is going straight to Dwarf. Very interesting. Trying to get more characters to the party. Makes a bit of sense, but not necessarily the play I would expect.
I mean, do you think part of this is like, let's spike an early Darkness Crystal down here, and then just try to chase that, do things that Possum will probably do just to be defensive, but may do it very late. Fortunately, we do see a Mom Bomb here. That's gonna... a little bit disgusting.
It'll add, with the slightly more unfortunate thing, I think, is we're still anchored, so this spot will get more punches. However, we have more than enough DPS, so we'll go and should definitely murder before the explosion phase.
Yeah, we got enough DPS and enough defense for sure. Let's see what football gives us. It is just a crystal helmet. So disgusting, Possum doesn't even walk that out, and is back by Ordeals. And is going to finally check Hobbs. We'll see that it's just another Rydia.
And we'll leave. Maybe even back to Ordeals.
Nah, he just saved. I gotta imagine
Ah,
Antlion Cave is next. We have exit. There's no point in... Unless you have forgotten Antlion Cave, you're going to do it after this.
and
Once this
we'll be the first to get the triple herald. Ooh.
We did see that it was an Ogopogo, and that Rydia, if we chose to remove her as an anchor, does know Leviathan. I don't really expect that to be on the table here, though.
Interesting. We have a that's again, while Sid has pure strength, Edge has his agility. Kane is a nice hybrid mix. He gets very fast and also solidly strong, kind of like an in between of the two of them.
Yeah, it's
More
interesting
HP
'cause
than Edge as well.
we'll call Kane like patently average, but a lot of that just has to do with his sort of the weapons he has available. When he's able to wield those crystal swords or X-Cows or Avengers, he definitely becomes more than patently average. And just a white shirt.
But we should have more than enough wisdom with Sork Robe Tiara, black shirts. So we should be able to start one-shotting all, really rack our way through this underground. Could peek Luca, could do Sylph, head back above ground, and maybe go to the lower Babel a little later. Looks like we are pushing with that pan in hand for Sylph first.
Makes sense. I hope that LUF does go to Bedward and go up Zot before doing the tower. If only that way he can take that tower key as well and not have to possibly double dip it.
I also hope he has an ether in hand or is just going to left side right now because we only have 130 MP at the moment.
Yeah, 30 MP per quake, so you get 4 quakes off, or 3 quakes and a virus. Which, if you're just gonna hit the other 2 trap chests, is perfectly fine, actually.
Yeah, he should be safe with... You do this, you use a tent, then you can you'll have 200 MP for the backside.
Dropping that battle speed down so you don't have to worry about run buffering into the menu in order to get that quake off. And we do see Possum is back at Evelyn doing the full clear of the overworld, getting his magma key. But getting his triple heron robe more power than he probably knows what to do with at this point.
Oh, I'm sure Possum knows what to do with it.
The same thing he was doing with 2 heroine robes.
But more! Yeah. If we get an Avenger, that'll be a lovely plus 55 agility and strength, which that's getting close to maxing out stats of 99.99.
So yeah, that magma key is interesting too, right? Because that is an objective. That might give Luke sort of the impetus to do, the overworld checks, knowing that magma key was just freely underground here.
Which, well, unfortunately, might put with his strength, it's not too much of a time loss, and might push him in another way other than getting exit to do that Zot where he'll find the gauntlet and Edge.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where this harp is, because right
Probably
now...
lower Babel.
That, given how the seed has gone, I'm going to guess this darkness is just sitting in the Feymarch freebie. And the harp is at lower Babel.
Actually, yeah, with Gauntlet found, we're just darkness and either harp or forge, or harp and forge and from go. Once the runners kind of retrace each other's steps. That white shirt could be important. We don't have enough to quake in time for the double mobile chest. But if we're missing any sort of anti-breath gear, the white shirt works for it.
So, Joe, I noticed on Luf's tracker, and of course, I'll give a shout out again to Fried Potato for tracking for us. I see a pink tail there. Well, there. What do you think that pink tail is going to be? I was going to guess Avenger because we didn't have one. It turns out we just got one right next to a crystal sword. So if you were thinking, what is the most power you could possibly have in a seed? Crystal Sword Avenger with 3 Heron robes is about that.
Bahamut, because we're using Rydia Anchor. And the seed doesn't like when you use Rydia Anchor.
That is fair. That is definitely fair. Ah, yes, the pigtail was from the Staleman chest.
Looks like we are pivoting over to Super Zerker Kane. So, double heroine robe. Going with Ninja Hat for the plus 33-33. Avengers 43-43, so we'll have a lovely 58 strength, 43 agility. Oh boy.
Zeromus is not going to last long when we get to him.
Zeromus is already... We are already Z-ready.
It doesn't matter that we don't have Tier 4. You're not seeing a big bang.
We might need a little bit of gear for a second Zerk Rose.
Yeah.
But...
You just spread out the heroine robes at that point.
Yeah, with the Avenger and the Crystal Sword, probably don't actually need triple heroine robe to match.
Yeah, all you do is you Berserk glitch or Avenger glitch over the Crystal Sword, so you pass along the Crystal Sword to 2 characters, and there you go.
Downside of that is you're missing the 10 strength and agility of the Avenger.
But 2 Crystal Swords. Essentially.
And
hey, there's the
bomb orb. I don't know that we turn in the pink tail unless we get a rat tail.
No, I can't imagine what Luf would be fishing for from that pink tail.
One slight potential time loss. We're heading to the Fey March. No exit for Luf. No gauntlet, so we'll have to check the Fey March bosses. So we'll lose a little bit of potential there, but is making quick work, having already cleared most of the underworld and just has the overworld to re-catch back up while Possum makes his way to the boss of the hook route.
Yeah, and it really sort of sticks out to me, you know, how long an overworld can take. We don't have the harp and we don't have the Baron Key, but we're still seeing, you know, a post 30-minute pitfall, and we had all the power from the get-go, essentially.
The little bit of trouble that gauntlet reset really took some time from Pop.
Yeah, but just, you know, it really lets me realize how much time you can spend on the overworld, even if you're just sort of steamrolling through most of these things. Because we'll do things like Falcon %, where the idea is just get to the pitfall as quickly as possible, and you'll see, you know, some fair bit of time. But a 30-minute pitfall, you know, in perspective, not a bad time at all, even with all the power. It just, there's a lot to do in the overworld. That would be a disgusting Fey March, if only because it would be a massive time waster if we had to do it.
But I want to.
Plant Q sounds fun. That D-Mist just seems like a waste of everyone's time.
Avenger Spoon, double, triple heroine robe. Honestly, we might even be on track to be able to one-cycle it with the sheer level of power we have.
I do see Luf going 2 Sealed Cave is going to peak this Luca key. We know it's not going to be the L-Gauntlet down here, but we still might see something like a Vanilla Darkness.
The one nervous thing that could show up. There's a Baron Key out there.
Possum is involved in this race, so it would not surprise me if a Baron Key were to show up in Sealed Cave.
And have the Darkness Crystal?
No. It'll have something required, but not the Darkness
Twin Harp
Crystal.
into Adamant Rock.
There we go.
Darkness and half a Forge in Lower Bow.
There we go. That's what
Package
I want to hear.
Sand Ruby and Rat Tail on the moon, but leading to absolutely nothing.
If this were the Baron Key, I could hear into the future Possumorpheus' sigh of picking that one up. But we'll see in a second.
We are getting a pitfall for Possum about, I think, just around 13, 12 and a half minutes later, being up Ordeals, Babool, and all of the Zot section. So, real good time. Honestly, that kind of evens out how much of that stuff does LUF end up doing, and how much of the unimportant underground stuff does Possum end up doing.
Yep, and we do see LUF getting that crystal ring, checking the boss here, because he has not found the Alt Gauntlet, is going to reset after seeing that Mylon Z. No real use for a crystal ring if you want defensive armor. We already have that. Crystal ring does do well against dragons, but
Where did Possum get that tower key?
from Zot.
Ooh. So
Yeah.
LUF is really trying to just go on. He has the pan in hand. He has a bunch of free and fast checks above ground that tower, but is trying to just make this a one-stop and done underground. He'll go here. He'll go above ground, maybe do some stuff, and then probably to the moon.
And there is that harp. So what's interesting here is if there's a darkness crystal, and there more than likely is, this could be a very quick go mode if LUF decides to check Zot 1.
That's the question. Does LUF and the lack of exit push him into Zot 1? Does the lack of the gauntlet push him to some boss checks? Or does he count on a gauntlet in the LST, no backtracking, and try and go down, face check, and hope the gauntlet's there and we don't need exit?
Yeah, that will be certainly an interesting thought, especially LUF having faded Flame Dog and Bedward up to this point. I expect once he does Harp, he'll check Bedward and the Flame Dog. It's a question of whether or not he continues on from there. What would be also interesting is if the Tower Key gives the Darkness Crystal. I don't think Possum is going to be aggressive here. I think he stays on Earth as long as possible, so I expect him to find that Magma Key quite quickly. But it will be interesting to see whether or not this, and that's a Baron Key, that's great, whether or not Possum will, be in go mode sooner rather than later at this point.
I think potentially best case for LUF might be Baron Key Darkness Crystal. I'm not sure.
I think that Baron Key is interesting because that does put in your mind to do the quote efficient routing and take that Harp and do all of Zot and
Harp
then
into
do
Zot
Baron.
into Baron.
And that would be huge if LUF decides to do that route because that will pay off big. We do want to welcome in Free Enterprise with the raid here. Please do not spoil the race between Dave and Pyre. I know Joe and I are going to want to watch sort of the end of that as well. But welcome to this race. We have an exciting one here, Possumorpheus versus LUF. LUF has done the majority of the underground, is actually just going to be missing that tower key from Zot in terms of underground clearing. whereas Possum has done the entire overworld and has pitfalled about 12.5 minutes later, but has made his way up the tower with that tower key. So the difference here is that LUF has done most of the underground, and Possum has done all of the overworld. But we did start off with a whole bunch of power, Heroine Robe in the starting kit with that green name kit, another Heroine Robe in a treasury from a Earth Crystal from Bedward, and then a third one from Antlion Cave. We are not lacking in power on either side tonight.
So, no Darkness Crystal from top of tower. That's good news for LUF, because I expect Possum to head to Sylph Cave sooner rather than later. And that would, if we had Darkness from here, put him in go mode without having done most of that underground stuff that LUF has been going for.
Yeah, what's particularly nice about this, that is the 10th key item for Possumorpheus, and now he's going to be getting double EXP from all these fights, which is, if you're sitting at 9 key items, you might try to avoid Sylph a little bit, just to try to secure that 10th before getting all those trap chests. But with 10 key items, you're really just incentivized to go right there. Possum, if he goes back of Sylph first, will be a bit later to get that Magma Key, but we'll also pick up a Crystal Sword and an Avenger for his troubles.
And we also have both Sheila checks, could be Darkness Crystal. We have Twin Harp. We have Baron. One of those 4 checks will lead to the Darkness Crystal. It's a matter of which one.
Gonna exchange out the Falcon.
But we have a Rat Tail, so I actually do think there's a chance we see that Pink Tail turn.
Maybe it will be second Avenger. Or maybe it will be Artemis Arrows.
Or a Crystal Sword to really set up that set going. Palom could be second Zerk. Actually, it's going to be Rosa. Self-Zerk Rosa into Edge Avengers.
Not going to turn
no
that
Pink
Pink
Tail
Tail either. Very immediate reset from LUF just getting that glass hat from the Rat Tail.
And is actually, it looks like heading to that Twin Heart before turning in the Pan check.
Which is interesting. If that Harp turns into that Darkness, I wonder if LUF just fades all of Zon. Because my question is, if you're doing this now, you're sort of doing your objectives. You open the treasury because that's your objective. But are you saying I'm not going to check Sheila 1 and 2?
I think you definitely check Sheila 1 and 2 before going to the moon. But Zot and Baron, it's a question of if you're going to go for Forge, or if, in this case, we'd only be missing that package spots if you're going to go for a gauntlet hunt. And what route do you go about that?
Yeah, we did see that the tower key didn't really lead to anything either, so we'll be well served not going back to that tower. And Possum is going front first. There, pick up that Magma Key. He now knows that he is just in Darkness Go mode.
It could be Pan, it could be Tower, it could be anywhere under.
Well, he's done Tower. I got to imagine he's gonna do Sheila 1 and 2 into Harp.
Twin Harp is what I meant.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we are about to get music here, so I think that's a time for us to get a little break.
Nice little time to get a drink.
Enjoy the music. A little bit of Super Mario Brothers 3 for everybody.
Okay, just to start us, Rod, so we're down to either Sheila 1 and 2, which Possum will likely check soon, or Baron Key, which I don't know when you check that.
In Possum's case, probably immediately after Harp, because you're already up there. And
Yes,
Possum is going to say, I don't want to give any outs to LUF, so I'm probably doing this anyways.
Having been up there, that pushes him away from Luca, even peak.
Well, if you're already up here, you're just gonna do Baron, I feel. Of course, if Shield 1 or 2 has the Darkness Crystal, well, we'll see.
That's
a pretty
big
quick
advantage,
finish.
Possum. If it
it's,
does.
Yeah, I mean, if Shield 1 or 2 gives the Darkness Crystal,
we are fading Bedward and Flame Dog.
that is unfortunate for LUF. If Possum does go to Shield 1 and 2 here and picks up, if there is a Darkness Crystal, which we will find out very quickly on LUF's side, Possum is almost certainly looking at a sub-1 seed, which is an amazing time in this flag set, even with all the power that we have gotten. Be curious to see whether or not it's here or if it's at that Baron Key.
Possum is fading that back half, so no Avenger Crystal Sword, but it is Baron.
Ooh. So now if you're LUF, do you then go ahead and take that, sort of very nice routing after he does Fabul defense here, go up Zot, and then go to Baron?
The slight issue is he doesn't have that Earth.
He does not have that Earth Crystal, but I mean, there are 2 key item checks there. Both are equally likely to have it.
Yeah, with your options being Baron, Ordeals, and Flame Dog / Bedward, I think we could see a priority there, but if he's just trying to go and save that bit of time by fading those 2 checks, or if they've kind of slipped his mind at that point.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting too, because if you do check Bedward and you check that Flame Dog, you are, with knowing that Magma Key was just sitting underground, you are more than likely obligated to go through Zot, because you're looking at terrible check number 1, terrible check number 2, or terrible check number 3 that has to hold your darkness. And so you might as well route it as well as you can. Which, efficiently, that's going to be go up Zot. And that Zot is going to give you that Alt Gauntlet. And then you're going to be right outside Baron, which we know at this point must give the Darkness Crystal.
The question here is, does Possum go for like the 2 versus 1 odds of Dwarf and Luca, or does he go and stick with his above ground closer Baron?
Yeah, this race may get very, very close, dependent on whether or not Possum decides that Baron is going to be required, or if he'd rather go through Sylph, back a Sylph, go through Dwarf, or go through Sealed Cave, which would give us sort of a check parity between these 2 racers.
We are heading to Baron, which will get the Darkness Crystal, but might cost LUF the race if he doesn't head to Zot.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for LUF, sort of saying, I need to make up time on Possum here. I'm gonna expect Zot to hold nothing of value, and unfortunately it has quite a bit of value. The 3rd Harem Road doesn't really affect too many things, but obviously the Alt Gauntlet being an objective, and the Earth Crystal being an objective, you are required to step in Zot, the seed.
Yeah. You don't have to go up Zot. In fact, it's possible that there's a quicker route. Last Arm plus hair dryers. But you need to go and at least pay a visit.
Kind of like these little built-in breaks in calming free enterprise.
And LUF is blitzing through Baron. So where does Possum go?
That is going to be the question.
If it's Baron, that's going to be tough for LUF. If it's not, there's a chance that LUF gets the darkness and doesn't want to leave those last two. Or even, like, there's 3 checks left on Earth that he could knock out real fast. He feels decent. He could go for that instead of chasing
underground. Would have gone south.
Oh yeah, there's also Sylph.
Yeah, the back of Sylph is still available for Possum, so that Baron looks like it's going to be a last check for Possum. I can't imagine him returning above ground to do that Baron castle check, which is all sorts of terrible.
And I think if we look at it, Ordeals and Zot play checks versus Luca, back of Sylph, and Dwarf, LUF clear rate and speed is ahead, but he needs to go to Bedwars first.
Yeah, like we said, you have to step into Zot. You're not getting away from that. So yeah, there's a question, because if LUF decides to play on the moon, we're going to see a full clear from LUF. And it's going to be hard to see how LUF would win in that case, just because of how important Zot is a seed. I do see Possum cleaning up the back of Sylph here. It's not going to take too long. Is he going to check this
That
cave?
is the path to Bedward. That is good news.
Yes, that is very good news for LUF. If he decides to continue up Zot with that Darkness Crystal, he'll get the Ult Gauntlet. It is definitely conceivable that he doesn't, though. He might just get this Earth Crystal and not even check a Flame Dog.
And if he does that, it's not over with Possum Rowdy. It'll be a bit before Possum gets go mode, so if he can find that Forge early, probably if he can find the pass for that little bit of time save.
Yeah, this has gotten definitely a lot more interesting now. LUF proving me wrong and going to Bedward, getting that Earth Crystal. I think that where that location or where that pass is going to be very important to save those 2.5-3 minutes of walking down the LST if we do get an early Adamant Rock. But LUF is actually gonna go up the Tower of Zot for, more than likely
Exit
for
is, I think Exit, like, yes, Zot takes 4 or 5 minutes, but you're going to save 2 or 3 with that Exit, or you're going to save at least a minute and a half.
Yeah,
adding in Flame Dog.
And this is going to pay off spectacularly if he continues up for this exit spell. It is worth noting that LUF could get the exit spell in a different way by going up Ordeals and making that Cecil a Paladin. Instead, choosing to go up Zot is going to pay off quite a bit. He's going to see this for Bull Gauntlet, and I wonder if he even bothers continuing with Zot at that point, or if he warps out, because you're walking the LST anyways.
But we have warp, so that cuts down the time to leave cave behind it. It also cuts down the time to leave.
Because you're not returning to Earth, you're just going to Cave Bahamut, and then you're walking down to Zeromus.
Gotta get to Palm's turn as soon as we can. Or actually, I think DK Steve's Dark Wave might pierce.
That'll be fine. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if LUF decides just to warp out of here, which I think would be quite a bit faster. Again, lacking that exit, but not really necessary when you know that you're just gonna beat up whatever is at Cave Bahamut and then go face Aromas. We have the power. We don't need levels.
And if you're worried, you just make sure bang. Yes, it could kill Kane. Yes, that would be unfortunate. But we have more than enough power that just a life potion, maybe a heal, which we might have a Cure 3 even, to tank the Big Bang, or just resurrect after, should be enough to just get us back in it.
Now, LUF may decide to play the Zot game for the chance of it being a pass. I don't know if he does that or not.
So, with this dwarf castle, Possum has locked in darkness. LUF will have done everything but ordeals. That'll be the difference in their clear rates outside of any sort of extra checks for XP that they do.
You know, it's definitely been a very close race. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, having the amount of power erasers did from the word go really just sort of evens things up. And really what's setting back Possum a little bit is that wipe at the All Gauntlet from getting charmed. And then having Rosa be invincible and therefore was not going to really work out.
Invincible to anything except probably herself.
Which would hurt. Yeah, we do see LUF is just going to walk out of here. Could use Warp. Is deciding to walk out, that's fine too, but it's still inevitably going to be faster than doing whatever is at Zot 2, especially with that cutscene, but before and after. So who haven't we seen that could be bad at Cave? I say bad is relative here. We have Heroin Road, it's not important. Evil?
I've seen Wyvern.
No, we have not seen Wyvern.
There is... No, we have Heroin Robes, so that Breathvern is, I think, about it.
Well, surely we're not going to roll 2 Breathverns in the same series back to back, right?
Yeah, because Heroin Robe prevents what could have also been threatening with there is a chance of whatever Golbez does to the party, that could happen to one of the rows, and I'd be worried about that, but we have Heroin Robes.
Charmvern would also not be great, but then you just reset and put on a headband.
We just need to make sure to save before Cave Bahamut.
Which, I believe both of our racers will more than likely save. Maybe. I'm checking now, and neither of these are either Tybalt or Judge Joe, so I expect to save before Cave Bahamut.
I mean, we have enough power. What are we worried about? Why are we... Oh,
what I want to see up here actually is a Dark Knight Cecil, which we can definitely get away with of the HP we have now.
Yeah, but our main Zerker does have enough. Does Rosa live is the question.
What I wanted to see, though, is with a DKC at Cave Bahamut, it's only 27-28 agility. Make your agility anchor the double or triple heroin road user and just see if you can somehow whittle him down.
But Possum's his last location for the dark, charging on down, is on his way about 3.5 minutes out from Darkness Crystal. LUF's raised the well and is on the way to the moon for the 6th and final objective. Do you think either of these runners maybe do a hairdryer's check for the pass? It's risky. It's about a 20-second time, but it does save you about 30 seconds overall.
I guess I would think about doing it if you wanted like a level or two on your characters at the same time. If you're not feeling entirely comfortable, I don't think we need a whole behemoth. Hairdryers, 60,000 XP will get you a couple levels as well.
If you need more XP, honestly, just hit one of the dragons for 200k. Or, actually, we might not have anti-dragon in case behemoth for 100k might be better.
Well, this is
double red. I think we have. Do we have anti-ice? Because in that case, double red could work.
I don't know, but I'm going to guess this is not exactly what LUF wanted to see.
Give it a blink, you're probably gonna be fine. Or just trust. That also works.
This is also where we get to say, thankfully, we are not playing the Pixel Remaster. Otherwise, these counters would do significantly more. But yeah, we're seeing really, really big numbers from Kane here. I believe just one more hit, Cecil does go down. Oh well. So sad. Cecil was going to do a lot for us in this final fight here. Like, take a counter game.
Yeah, so with this being our party, what I believe the set... Oh, that Excalibur's nice. You can go... if you're maxed out with Kane, you can go and set up Excal Crystal Sword on your second Zerker. You go...
You can also do Excal Spoon. I mean, Spoon doesn't really do too much. Or Excal Power Staff.
Yep, but that's just... I think Kane might be maxed out or close enough with the Spoon already equipped. So... what we can see, if you go, you put Kane in slot 3, Rose in slot 2, self-Zerk, Avenger user is activated, then you can queue up with like a Lit 3 to do hopefully 6k damage and nerf the first Big Bang, and depending on the counter nuke target, should be more than enough to get through. If it murders Palom, you have your 2 Zerkers. If it murders one of your Zerkers, Palom can get them back up. If it murders anyone else, well, you're just golden.
Yeah, you're not seeing a second Big Bang. There has been a lot of discussion in various channels about what the best setup is in terms of your Zeramis sprite, especially when it comes to armor.
Actually, you could take this edge instead of DKC as Dart literally something or other.
Yeah, that would be definitely a good plan. That Spoon, even though Edge has no levels, will still do a fair amount of damage.
Oh, we have a Dragoon Spear, so we could slingshot him off the dragons if we're doing a grind.
But will that inevitably save time?
It looks like since we're setting him up as a Zerker, I expect we will.
Yeah, and that Crystal Ring, if Edge gets moved to the back row, will ensure that he does survive a dragon chest.
We're setting up for a dragon. So, yeah, that'll be 400,000 XP. Edge is even set him up. And then when Rosa goes again, you can go Trizer.
Yeah, I sort of expect this Edge to be moved to slot 3 in the back row, so that Crystal Ring will protect him. We do see Possum going to this Antlion now, is going to get his Crystal. And see what he does from there. I expect he says he has more than enough levels.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that Rosa is nearly at 2,000 HP.
We're good.
Yeah, we're definitely good. It's that 10 key item Sylph. That was really the difference here in terms of levels.
Tenki at himself and comfort. Like, I know I'm comfortable with what LUF, but I know I am comfortable with a lot of things others aren't.
So we do get a Bimmy and Jimmy peak.
Yeah.
I know some people are very happy about that. We're going to see Quad 9s. We should probably see a Quake come out from Palom here as well.
I don't think we have enough gear to do 6 Quakes, so it's not going to save time.
We do have that Stardust Rod and the Black
It
Sword.
requires a lot of gear.
That's fair. Or at least more levels.
You can't life glitch it. Sadly.
Definitely.
So Crystal for Possum. 400,000 XP for Edge.
And level 41 for Edge. And hey, there are those arty arrows that I'm sure the Pinktail was going to give us.
So do we do the second? It's not needed, but it's fast.
No. You're facing Possum. Like,
Yeah. This was a he didn't feel comfortable set up. He didn't want to risk a wipe, so he'll take the time loss that this might have been.
This is LUF saying, man, I haven't seen a dot done yet. Let me get me to Zeromus.
Alright, let's see. What party setup do we go for? Oh, we might be going Avenger glitch strat. Which is fine, it works.
Well, what would you do? My thought is putting your Avenger user in slot 3, Rosa in slot 2,
Yep.
another Avenger in slot 4 or 5, it doesn't matter which.
Oh, do we have 2 Avengers?
No, but we have Berserkcaster in slot 2.
Yep. So, yeah, I would go Rosa slot 2, Avenger Zerk slot 5, Hallam queues up a nerf. There's a chance it goes right back to Rosa, but it might pass through the anchor. Whichever case it is, we then self-Zerk Rosa, try Zerk setup, potential for 0 Big Bang if Palm and everyone rolls high enough, and if not, you're never seeing a second Big Bang.
Yeah, you are controller down after that nerf. For sure. But we'll see how LUF does play this. Possum is probably going to have a similar setup as we just talked about. But this is definitely going to be very close. Well, it seems like chat's a little bit lacking. There's no Zeromus flags here.
The race has been interesting. They're not tired. They're ready.
Yeah. I mean, look, the seed was over when we got Heroin Robe number 1 in the first 5 seconds.
The seed was double over when we got the treasury and 6 minutes.
So do you want to do the honors tonight, Joe?
Yeah, we got a nice little random sprite for Zeromus, so we always like to ask, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
So the fun part about this Avenger glitch, though, is it's keeping that stat from the Shadow Sword, isn't it?
Yes, but the Shadow Sword doesn't provide any upsides or downsides.
Yeah, I guess the Spoon there at least gets you to 255.
Yep, and it's our triple Heroin Robe user. It's no business.
I think it's about to get cheesy. But yeah, I mean,
virus.
That Kane is doing 8,500. You are now just at controller down. Like,
yep. See if this kills. You're
yeah,
through.
You're definitely controller down.
If you're worried at all, you go and Zerk Rosa.
There's not
and
enough.
well, Possum might have a chance to save a little bit. I don't think it will not. LUF got to Z fast enough. I don't think it will matter enough.
No, I think this is going to be fairly standard for LUF here, doing well over 12,000 around. This is very comfortable. Except when both characters will roll like that. It's going to throw on a Cure... maybe not, no, it's just going to go Zerk on Rosa here. provide a little bit extra damage, which is fine. Shouldn't make much of a difference here. Should just be able to sit back and relax. Possum does throw that crystal about a minute and a half later.
Yeah. With the extra grind time spent by LUF, it looks like it'll be close enough that the ordeals extra for Possum looks like it will matter, but very well done by both runners. Both of them will have a real quick time on this seed.
Yep. Came down to where that darkness crystal was. And that is, I believe, LUF finishing with an official time of 1:07:56. Going to take this event team and min matchup to game 3. So neither of them are relegated to just being on the admin side. You get your GGs out for LUF. Possum is going to be finishing up shortly, I am sure, as well. We will see if we can get our winner in for an interview. And with that, we are joined by our winner tonight. GG's LUF.
Thank you very much. How can I say this? You know, the moment I thought that Possum was my opponent for the round of 16, just taking one game was my sole objective. I was literally shaking after the game. I believe you do have question, and I think I do have some amnesia, so let's roll with this. It's gonna be a fun interview.
Oh, no, it was great. I mean, I have to imagine when you get that early hook, starting hook, very beginning of the seed, you see that green name kit rolls a tiara and a heroin robe. What are your immediate thoughts?
I wanted to get on the ground as soon as possible. I wanted to do only the very, very, very quick checks. I wasn't even sure the heroin robe was there. I thought I had seen it. I was sure I had a tiara. I was not sure about the heroin robe. So it was a bit of improvisation when I got into Eblan and, you know, starting to opening chest and then castle. I'm like, oh yeah, I can at least with those 2 lightsabers. I can at least do the ogre chest. I want to get some very, very quick leveling up. I want to be able to quick start this as soon as possible. I want to get on the ground under 20. And just chatting with Possum after the run. It looks like it was a winning move. It looks like doing that later was actually the right play for this scene. So, yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was very fortuitous that you did. We were debating coming out of that barren castle, which we knew had to hold the darkness crystal at that point. If you were gonna then just jump to the moon, or if you were going to finally go to Bedward and get that earth crystal. Because you were not getting away to sea without stepping into Zod. It was definitely required to go up there. So I am glad you made that choice, because this has been a very exciting series between you two, and I'm glad we get a game 3 out of this. But what was your decision about that when you got that darkness from Baron?
I knew at that moment I was very, very close to go mode. I mean, what was left was pretty much trying to find the Fable Gauntlet or the Forge. My thought was, okay, I haven't done Bedward, and the possibilities of Fable Gauntlet being somewhere very remote, very hidden, I don't know, Giant 2 or stuff like that. So I was not going to run away from Zot. And the thing is, it really paid off because I ended up doing Zot 1, and lo and behold, I was not prepared, but it was Fable Gauntlet. So I was able to actually walk out of Fable Gauntlet. I walked out of Zot without even having to finish it, and I was like, "Oh, this is probably very huge for me." I haven't seen Possum writing yet in the chat room, and I'm like, "Okay, I respect the players so much, so I must have done something better than him, voting wise, to be not right now losing." So got very lucky, glad of it. But yeah, the moment I saw the Darkness Crystal, I was like, oh, I cannot leave without at least checking Zot, and most likely ordeals after that, but Zot with the 3 checks was a priority, just because I was not relying on Fable Gauntlet to actually appear right in front of me.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a very well-run seed by you. If you're curious, Possum lost a bit of time getting charmed on his single Rosa. Basically ran Rydia Anchor as well, but only had Rosa and Rydia. And there was another heroine robe from that treasury. So,
Oh,
double heroine robe, and your only character is charmed. Had to take a reset on that third fight.
oh, that hurts so much. We would have been very close to dying then. Very close.
Yeah, I think you still would have had a very slight edge. I don't know how long that would cost him, but it would have been very, very close. But ultimately, yeah, you made the right routing plays. You had a significantly faster alt gauntlet, and that really did pull you ahead. But yeah, I mean, do you enjoy these type of seeds that give you all the power up front, or were you a little bit disappointed that it's like, here you go, you're not dying anytime soon?
Considering how game 1 went, I don't know how many of you out there actually watched that one, but I was so stressed and I failed so many plays in game 1 that even if it's not usually my style, having a lot of power let me at least rely on it and tell myself, okay, I won't do the same mistakes because I have all the tools necessary to do this very easily. Still, I usually like very rude seeds, but this time it was very welcome.
Yeah, and like I said, you played it wonderfully. I know I can continue to interview for hours, but I'm just going to pass it over to Joe if he has any questions.
Mostly about in regards to this seed, was the Bimmy and Jimmy grind always grind with getting the crystal, or was getting the edge kind of the main reason that drove you to adding a little bit of a grind?
Getting edge. The thing is, if I actually would have simply got, simply kept Cecil, I wouldn't have done the grind. I would have tried to do a 2-circle play. I knew it was entirely possible, maybe a bit tight with less levels, but the moment I saw edge, I was like, okay, I'm going to actually maybe not cut back all the time, but I get that a lot more extra safety on that fight. So I was like, okay, I have not seen Possum write anything in the chat. I'm doing the grind.
And it worked out. That was a very powerful, very fast, and very... So, well done on that. GG's on game 3. Do you know when that is, and do you have any special plans now that you've made it to a game 3?
I'm trying to keep playing against the player. I think it's very important. So, Possum, I'm going to watch so many streams. So you might as well delete all of them. Joking aside, game 3 will be Sunday, I believe at 3 p.m. East. So we're going maybe to have the exciting game for the last day of the round of 16. And I want to thank everyone in the Restream team. I want to thank everyone in the event team, the admins, everyone who've done incredible work up to now for this tournament. Everyone, Fred, Joker, Fury, Joker Mage, very appreciated from you to actually restream this one. Thank you very much.
It was great to commentate, and thank you for racing and playing and providing us with some premium entertainment.
Thank you.
We will see if we are joined by Possum, and I just got a little ding. GG's Possum.
Hello, hello. GG's LUF.
That was, how do you feel about power, and when do you want it?
I mean, that's what Omni can do sometimes, and you got to be ready for it. I think I played it just fine. I just made the fatal mistake of last locationing, and that's going to bite you. We kind of talked a little bit and was listening in on the interview. The early Zot play versus the late Zot play was definitely a game changer. So, if I get through that gauntlet first time, if we take that away and we take away the ordeals, I know that in a foot race I'm still ahead. Nothing really to change, just didn't go my way this time. So the way I look at it, the pressure's still on LUF. I'm going to play my game every time, and he's the one that's got to adapt. So we'll see what happens Sunday. It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think we all are, especially because we're going to get a race on Sunday.
Potentially two. There's the schedule right now. There's 2 potential game 3s Sunday, not just this one.
No, it's great. No, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this seed. What were your thoughts when you were playing it, though?
I mean, the thing about the seed was like, in particular after the gauntlet wipe, my thought was, okay, so I need to make up a half of a gauntlet on LUF. Can I do that reasonably? Do I think I can execute well enough with this much power? I don't know. Early Zot can be a little bit of a troubling play, but for me, Zot is either a now or never play. So I'm either doing it then, or I'm never doing it. Doing it then was the right option because it had an objective, and I didn't pay attention to spoiler log, Lord knows where the forge was. So ultimately, it was the right move. It just went a little awry. The edge certainly makes up some time that I get from it. So ultimately, I think it's probably net neutral doing Zot the way I did. Certainly net loss with the wipe, but who knew goblins can cast charm as a counter to magic? Today I learned. And just one of those things that the power was there. We had all the options in the world, and for this particular seed, I just didn't make the right choice, and that happens.
If only that Baron Key were in Sealed Cave. You would know.
I mean, if the Baron Key was in Sealed Cave, I probably reset. Well, the thing was, I didn't peek Luca until I had no gating key items left, other than the Darkness Crystal. So part of the route there was, go through, do as much as I can, and then just cut off loose ends and go to Luca when there's literally nothing left to chase. So it's either Darkness, half a Forge, or nothing. And in this case, it was nothing. And then hit Dwarf and hope, okay, maybe that's got the answer. And it didn't. And then it was like, okay, well, we literally only have Baron left now. So I figured with 10 key items, I go to Sylph, I do my grind there. I have a decent shot at finding Darkness. A lot of things in play that I felt fine with routing. But the cookie didn't crumble my way today.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting about this flag set. Just a lot of it can come down to routing. In this case, it was routing on the overworld, and a lot of times, sometimes it's routing on the moon. In this case, it was a little bit different, but yeah, like you said, that's just the way it works sometimes. But it was definitely exciting to watch from our end because we were just like, where's that darkness crystal? As we were getting very, very close to running out of checks until both of you went to Sheila 1 and Sheila 2 around the same time.
Hmm.
And that is when we knew where that darkness crystal was, because we were expecting the darkness to possibly be at 1 and 2, and no.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it played out if darkness were any other location, because I have no idea route wise like what we took. All I know is it sounds like it was different. I know that LUF rushed hook route. It sounded like he said he had like a 19-minute pitfall to my 33. So obviously there was a lot of variation early, which means we probably did stuff in totally different orders, which likely made it exciting near the end, but it was probably pretty up in the air, pretty clown fiesta for a while in the middle there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you're like, hey, we're doing other stuff, and we're going up Lower Babel with Possum having a full overworld and Loof with a full underworld, and we're doing other stuff, and we're heading to Sheila, and we're doing other stuff.
yes, it was actually instantaneous divergence. We've actually decided to raise the hovercraft immediately, so it was pretty much at no point were you two in the same location, except for maybe a little bit at the end of Eblin and turning in the pan and walking down the Zoronis. So
Well,
no, definitely an exciting watch.
I was gonna say, sounds like a good one to watch back. So I have something to look at over the next few days. Again, that all being said, I don't think I changed too much. I know that in a straight line, there's not a ton of people that are going to get the better of me. So I know that I can just force people to have to play either at their A plus game or to gamble or both. And sometimes it's going to work. Bravo. But the consistency typically gets me pretty far in these things. So I don't think there's a reason to change. There's your bulletin board material, Loof, if that's even bulletin board material, like the weak sauce bulletin board version.
I mean, like I said, I will definitely enjoy watching Game 3. I don't know if I have any more questions for you. You've definitely walked through your thoughts on the seed. Joe, do you have any final questions for Possum?
No, just GG's. That was a very fun race to watch. Always interesting to see what people do with their power given it, and looking forward to Game 3 and hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Fiery. I'm looking forward to Sunday being something other than misery as a New York Giants fan, so I'm happy I get a game win or lose. Thank you, gentlemen, again for the comms. Joker for doing the restream, and Potato, welcome on back, friend. And I'm sure you did a wonderful job tracking. Y'all have a great night, and yeah, I'll kick the raid off here shortly.
Yeah, you sort of took it, Possum. Do want to give another shout out to our restreamer Joker Mage, our tracker Fried Potato, of course my co-commentator Joe, and our racers tonight, providing us with an amazing race between Luf and Possumorpheus. If you were not following them already, you should go ahead and follow their streams. They are very entertaining, very good at this game. But with that, Joe, where are we headed off to?
We are heading off to Free Enterprise 3, where we have a ongoing match of John Burkhead versus Reckless Charlie. They are holding their game 1, so it's sure to be an exciting one. Make sure not to spoil this one, but I hope you're looking forward to it because it will be a fun one.
Absolutely. Thank you all again for watching, and we will see you next time. Enjoy Free Enterprise 3.